The observation deck of the Covenant station hummed with tension as Commander Zaloth watched the human vessel approach. His scales rippled with anticipation finally, after months of strategic planning. The moment had arrived to demonstrate the superiority of the Kreth Empire. "Deploy the breath of dissolution," Zaloth commanded, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of military tradition across the void of space. Inside the UNSC frigate Defiant Hope, Russell checked his rifle one more time. The young soldier had seen his share of combat in the outer colonies, but something about this mission felt different. Beside him, May adjusted her helmet, her dark eyes scanning the tactical display. "Station breach in 30 seconds, she announced, her voice calm despite the odds. "Intel says we're looking at minimal resistance." Russell grinned. When has Intel ever been right? The boarding pod shuddered as it latched onto the station's hull. Explosive charges detonated in sequence, and the assault team poured through the breach like water through a broken dam. Russell and May moved in perfect sync, weapons raised. Covering angles as they advanced into the metallic corridor, the station was eerily quiet. "I don't like this," May whispered, her finger hovering over the trigger. "Where is everyone?" They rounded a corner into a vast chamber and found their answer. Dozens of Kreth soldiers stood in formation behind transparent barriers, their reptilian faces twisted in what might have been smiles. In the center of the room, Commander Zaloth stood beside a massive cylindrical tank, tendrils of green gas swirling within. "Humans!" Zaloth's voice boomed through the translation system, his tone dripping with satisfaction. "You have walked willingly into your tomb. What you see before you is the breath of dissolution, a toxin so potent that it has ended civilizations. Your primitive respiratory systems will fail within seconds of exposure. Your cells will rupture. Your blood will crystallize." Russell glanced at May, who shrugged. "Dramatic fellow, isn't he?" Zaloth's eyes narrowed. "You jest in the face of death?" "Typical human arrogance. Let me educate you about your place in this galaxy." With a ceremonial flourish, the Kreth commander activated the release mechanism. The gas erupted from the tank, flooding the chamber with an expanding cloud of pale green mist. It rolled across the floor like a living thing, climbing the walls, filling every cubic meter of available space. The Kreth soldiers behind their barriers leaned forward, eager to witness the spectacle of human suffering. This was the weapon that had broken the Yelenti resistance. The same toxin that had forced the surrender of 3 star systems. Russell felt the gas envelop him, cool against his exposed skin. He took a breath and paused. May noticed his expression. "What's wrong?" "Is that ... Russell sniffed again, deeper this time. "Is that mint?" May inhaled experimentally. Her eyebrows rose. "Spearmint, I think." "Maybe peppermint?" "There's definitely a menthol quality to it." Behind the barrier, Zaloth's satisfaction began to curdle into confusion. The humans weren't convulsing. They weren't gasping for air or clawing at their throats. They were discussing flavor profiles. "Actually kind of refreshing," Russell continued, taking several more deliberate breaths. "Like those breath mints my grandmother used to keep in her purse? The ones in the little tin?" May asked. "Exactly those." Commander Zaloth's scales had gone rigid. "Impossible. The breath of dissolution is lethal to all carbon-based life forms. We've tested it on 73 different species." Russell looked directly at the Kreth commander, his expression innocent. "Have you considered that maybe it's just not very good poison?" "Not very good?" Zaloth's voice cracked. "This gas has a molecular structure specifically designed to infiltrate cellular walls and disrupt ATP production. It triggers catastrophic cascade failures in respiratory tissue." May pulled up her datapad, scrolling through information. "Hey, Russell, you remember that briefing about Earth's evolutionary history? The one about the oxygen catastrophe?" "The what now?" "About 2.4 billion years ago, photosynthetic organisms pumped so much oxygen into Earth's atmosphere that it caused a mass extinction event. Oxygen was literally toxic to most life on the planet back then." "Okay, and?" "And our ancestors survived it." Adapted to it. Eventually evolved to require it. May looked up at the Kreth soldiers. We come from a planet that survived multiple extinction-level events. Our atmosphere is 21% oxygen, which, by the way, is incredibly reactive and would be considered poisonous to most species. We breathe a gas that causes metal to rust. Russell was warming to the topic. Oh, and don't we also produce our own toxins? Like constantly? Stomach acid strong enough to dissolve metal. Immune systems that literally wage war inside our bodies. 24/7. We produce alcohol as a metabolic byproduct, which is poison, then we drink it recreationally. May ticked off points on her fingers. Our planet has organisms that produce some of the deadliest neurotoxins in the galaxy. We eat them. On purpose. Sometimes we pay extra for them. Pufferfish, Russell nodded sagely. Delicious. Commander Xyloth was now pressing against his barrier, his eyes wide with something approaching horror. What are you? We're humans, Russell said simply. We come from a death world where the dominant species had to compete with megafauna, survive ice ages, outlast plagues, and adapt to every environment from frozen tundra to scorching deserts. We're persistent predators who evolved to chase our prey until it died of exhaustion. We sweat toxins, we consume poisons for fun, and our bodies are basically walking chemical warfare facilities. The gas had fully dispersed now, leaving a minty, fresh scent throughout the chamber. May checked her scanner. Boss, the rest of the team is through the breach. Station secured. Copy that. Russell turned his attention back to Xyloth. So here's what's going to happen, Commander. You're going to surrender this station, peacefully, and in exchange, we won't introduce you to what humans consider actual chemical weapons. What could possibly be worse than the breath of dissolution? Xyloth demanded. Though his voice had lost its earlier confidence, Russell and May exchanged glances. Russell's grin was absolutely feral. Have you ever heard of something called ghost pepper hot sauce? Or surströmming? May added helpfully, what about that durian fruit? Remember the one that got banned from the cargo bay? Oh, or we could just tell them about chlorine trifluoride. May, that's just cruel. Commander Xyloth slowly raised his hands in surrender. In that moment, he understood a fundamental truth that would echo through Kreth military doctrine for generations. Humans didn't conquer despite their hostile homeworld, they conquered because of it. They were born from poison, shaped by catastrophe, and apparently found chemical weapons refreshing. As the human assault team secured the station. Russell took one last deep breath of the minty air and smiled. You know what? After all that recycled ship air, this is actually pretty nice. May laughed. Maybe we should ask them for the recipe. Behind his barrier, Commander Xyloth decided that retirement was looking very, very appealing.